This is my life. This is my passion. This is Ike's Outdoors. Hey guys, Ike here from archers.Outdoors.com. Today we're here to do our part 3 of Project Lindsay. And in this one we're going to be talking about shot put.
So I know where the vitals are on the deer. Is there anywhere in particular for me that I need to focus on hitting rather than not?
For you, because you're shooting a low poundage bow and you don't have a whole lot of kinetic energy flowing, you're at the very bottom side of the kinetic energy range to kill a deer this size. You're going to have more areas where you're not going to want to shoot, period, than, you know, me shooting a 70-pound bow. My bow's kinetic energy is enough to take down an elk. You know, yours is barely enough to take down a deer this size. So, of course, you know where your vitals are. You know, your heart, lungs are right there, liver's here, diaphragm's in here, guts are back here. What you're going to want to avoid is bone and muscle. For me, I want to avoid bone, but muscle doesn't really bother me. So, you want to avoid this. Of course, you want to avoid that big bone right here that's going to come up. Your heart's going to sit back there. And you're going to want to avoid any frontal shot or any rear shot, because one, they're just bad shots in general, but there's a lot of muscle there, and muscle can stop an arrow just as fast as a bone can. Especially if this deer's tensed and her muscles are tight, your broadhead's probably not going to be able to push through this big muscle up here. And pushing through all that neck muscle and stuff up here is probably not going to happen either. So, you're going to want to avoid that big bone. You're going to want to avoid a straight at you shot or a straight away shot. What's perfect for you, even the rib bones are probably going to be enough to deflect your arrow a little bit. The perfect shot for you is actually going to be a quartering away shot, where this deer, if I'm the shooter, this deer is actually facing away from me just like it is now. And then what you can do is you can slip your arrow in right behind the ribs into that gut. And yeah, you know, you don't want to make a gut shot, but you got to think of your point of exit. Your point of entry is not as important as your exit hole. So what you want to do is probably shoot it back here into the gut. That'd be a perfect shot because the gut's nice and soft. It's going to allow you better penetration. And if you get a good quartering away shot like this and you're shooting from where I'm at, you can hit it right there. You're going to avoid most of the ribs. I mean, even if you do, the ribs back here, those floating ribs are a lot softer than the good solid ribs up here. And when that arrow exits, goes through, you're going to bust the diaphragm, the liver, probably get the front of the guts, probably get the back of this lung. And if you miss the back of this lung, you still got a really good chance of getting, if you shoot low enough, you're going to get the heart, but if you don't shoot low enough, you got a really good chance of getting those ventricles that go to the heart. And you're going to get this offside lung. So chances are, you might hit the heart and you might hit the lung, but I guarantee you, if you get this angle, you're going to bust the gut, liver, diaphragm, and an offside lung, and that's going to kill this deer.
So I can kill it without actually touching the heart?
You can kill it without touching the heart. The heart is not your objective. Your objective is, one, to do as much damage as you possibly can. But if you go for the heart shot, if you get a broadside shot, your shot's going to be up into here. You want to aim for the lungs. You don't necessarily want to get the heart. The heart's a good quick kill, but for you shooting low poundage, the heart's sitting right here.
And it's a really big disadvantage with that shoulder blade.
That's right. One, you got the shoulder blade, you got the bone in there, you also got a lot of muscle in there, and you're going to really, I mean, two, I don't like to aim for the heart because you're talking about aiming for something that big, whereas a lung is that big. So, and if you get a good high double lung shot broadside, then you're going to bust both of them. If you get a heart shot down here and you get into that bone, you're going to probably be lucky with your setup to even get to the heart. So a broadside shot's good for you, but on broadside you're going to want to go up higher. So you want to try to bust both lungs. Ideally, for a low poundage setup, you want that quartering away shot. So that's what I would definitely recommend waiting for, that quartering away shot with your low poundage setup. Broadside shot's going to be perfect, or going to be good. Quartering away shot's going to be perfect. A facing you shot or a walking away from you shot directly away from you is going to be bad. But now, if you can get that deer coming toward you and you can be patient, don't take that shot where he's facing you. let him walk
Let him
past you.
turn.
Yeah, let him walk past you. And if you get him directly like this, then you don't want to take the shot. But if you can get him to where, say your arrow coming in like this, if you can get your arrow in here and you get that quarter away shot, you're good to go. The other thing you're going to have to think about, you're going to hunt 95% of the time out of a ground blind. But if you ever do get into a tree stand, ground blind, your angle is going to be flat. Into a tree stand, your angle is going to be, you're going to be angled down. So when you're taking that quarter away shot, instead of hitting back here or hitting down here, you're going to want to aim up higher.
Why aim high?
Because your point, just like I talked about earlier, your entry point's not as important as your exit. Because if you're ground level, then your exit point's going to be level with your entry. But if you're in a tree stand 20 foot off the ground, your exit point's going to be lower than your entry point.
So you have more things you can hit on the way down.
Well, no. What you're trying to avoid is if you hit at this sharp of an angle here, you're not going to get up into the cavity. It's actually going to go through the deer and exit straight down. And you're only going to be affecting about that much. Whereas if you hit up here or in this upper area, instead of it going almost straight through the bottom, you've got a little bit more of an area to get it going through. I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but instead of it coming through straight like that, you're coming through like that. So if you hit it here, it's likelihood it's going to come out here. Whereas if you hit it up here, closer to the spine, it's going to come through probably over here somewhere.
Okay.
So you want to get up a little bit higher because of the angle from the tree stand. Any other questions about it?
No, I don't have any other questions.
Okay, so for you guys shooting low poundage, I've done videos on high poundage shooting. You guys that are shooting 60, 70 pounds, even 50 pounds, you're probably going to be okay to take most of the shots. I don't like a straightaway shot or a straight coming at me shot anytime. But if you're shooting 50 pounds or above and you get a shot into this area or anywhere into the cavity, you're probably going to be fine. If you're shooting 50 pounds or below, what you're going to want to avoid is the big muscles, like back here, of course, and the shoulder plate and the big muscles of that shoulder. If you're shooting 30 pounds or 50 pounds or below, your ideal shot is a quartering away shot. And what you want to really do is concentrate on your exit hole and really concentrate on getting a good angle in there. Don't be afraid to hit it in the gut if it means you can get an angle into the body. So 30 pounds and below or 50 pounds and below, it's all about shot placement and all about knowing where your arrow is going to exit, not necessarily where it's going to enter, where it's going to exit. Do as much damage to kill that animal as humanely as possible. And for you guys who think, well, 30 pounds is too low and stuff like that, I killed my first 3 deer with a 40-pound recurve that I probably wasn't even pulling 30 pounds out of. And the key to it was shot placement. My arrows didn't go in that far, but I was able to get both lungs with it. So the next video we're going to do in Project Lindsay series, part 4, is we're going to talk about one. I'm going to get her all geared up with all of her gear, and we're going to get her in a tree stand. She's going to hunt out of a ground blind mostly, but we're going to get her in a tree stand, put a safety harness on it so she's familiar with it, put her in the chair that she's going to be shooting out of the ground blind so she knows how to operate it, and so on. And just really discuss the equipment that she's going to be using. And if Jacob don't get this penguin out of here, I'm going to use it for target practice. So check back with us, guys. Project Lindsay, part 4 will be up here pretty soon. Season starts soon, so we're trying to get these smacked out as fast as we can for you guys. We really appreciate you watching these. For more information, product reviews, how-to videos, be sure to visit our website, archers.Outdoors.com. And if you got any questions, the best way to contact me is Facebook. You can just search for us, Ike's Outdoors, on there. And that is the best way to get me to answer your questions and the best way to find out what you need from us. So appreciate you guys watching.